Hi, everybody. This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend, and you're listening to the Book in the Territory Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast.
This is the artist formerly known as Daryl Van Horn, James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, and I'm here to let you know I would rather slam my cock in a car door than to miss the dulcet tones of Hard Body Harper, my illegitimate son, on Booking the Territory podcast.
Woo, Messi, this is professional wrestler Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man. Tell my people and my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss Booking the Territory. Oh, yeah.
This is a one-man gang. You're listening to Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, where today we are covering WCW Saturday Night on TBS from November the 16th of 1991. I'm sitting here with Doc and Not Hard Body Harper. As we mentioned last week, we're having to record a couple of things way in advance of them airing. So these last three episodes, including this one that you've listened to, have all been recorded within a 2.5 day span. So if you didn't get a Patreon shout out, or you didn't hear your 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Podcast Addict, that is why. Be patient and yours will come for sure. Doc, let me throw it to you. How are you? You're fine. We just recorded for an hour and a half, so I'm sure you're doing great.
This is taking me back to the Smoky Mountain Friday mornings.
Yeah, but those shows would go by in like an hour, not an hour and a half.
Let me tell you something. These 2-hour episodes you're making me watch is BK inducing.
Bro, this is rough. These 2-hour ones are brutal, man. They weren't brutal when we were young. They're brutal now, man.
So,
like,
yeah,
what are we doing
if
here?
you're listening to this, hey, last week we had a lot of fun. It was an hour ago for us, less at the end of the episode. So we are not going to talk about anything that's happening in the world. So once again, let me just put out this disclaimer. If AI and the machines, the robots, or the aliens have taken over, we love you. We're ready to serve you. Mike and I will be your liaison and interpreters for the SAPs. We speak SAP.
Sure. Okay. All right. That's nice, Doc. Well, Doc, last week, we, during a big portion of our episode, we went through a lot of the Ask Doc questions that we called for on Patreon. I don't know if I said that, so there's a reminder. Not only is the Ask Doc segment available on Patreon early, but I posted it for patrons to ask questions of you. So if someone out there emails me and says, "Hey, I didn't get my question in. You didn't ask for questions." I did ask on Patreon, so it's another benefit of becoming a patron. tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. So if you're listening to this early, we're going to go through the second half of Doc's segment of Ask Doc. So Doc, how about we jump on right into this thing, and I'll get you going with the Ask Doc segment.
That a lot of fun last week. Glad we could do it. I say we get right into it.
Jason Ward wants to know, with the recent resurgence of the Cowboys-Niners rivalry, it's not where it once was by any stretch, but it can get there again. What are some of your favorite memories from Cowboys-49ers games from years past? Mine is definitely the 94 NFC title game when Steve Young got redemption for the failures of the previous 2 years.
Right now, my current favorite is watching Ezekiel Elliott get knocked on his ass on the last play of my season last year.
He said favorite memories. He didn't say miserable memories.
I had to take something out of the tragedy to smile. So, so definitely not the catch. That was a fraud and bullshit. And Montana was throwing that ball away and got lucky. And then he's a hero and shit. Fuck that. Fuck him.
Okay. All right.
Certainly not the game that Ward is talking about here, the 94 championship, where like we came out and fucking Jaworski'd ourselves on the field in the first quarter and got behind, and then fought back the whole way, and then Switzer's out on the field getting penalties for being on the field and interfering with the play. That guy was a buffoon's buffoon. The reason Switzer was a successful coach is that he happened to be coaching at the right time at the right place where his crazy ass antics would work, and probably as much or better than anyone else in that time period, he could go in and talk bullshit to the black mama and get those athletes to come to Norman, Oklahoma.
What does this have to do with favorite memories from Cowboys 49ers?
Well, my favorite memory is going to be the 1992 NFC Championship game on a muddy track, January 17th, 1993. Because really what happened in that was that the Cowboys jumped a year. You know how everything is steps. You got to figure out how to win. Then you got to figure out how to get in the playoffs. Then you got to figure out how to advance in that next level. And we jumped a year or two in that game by winning it the way we did. And we were, again, running nose and nose with them until the fourth quarter when we got that separation at the end. Favorite play from that was Alvin Harper catching that crossing pattern going like 60, 70 yards, really moving and changing the field there. And it was like, damn, we're better than we thought we were. We thought we could do it, but now we know we can do it. And I got to tell you, Buffalo Bills didn't stand a chance 2 weeks later.
They really didn't. They didn't.
Because really, in my opinion, the thought process was the 49ers are the best team in football. Now, people give the Bills down the road, but they did make the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. They did stun the Oilers back then in that championship game. And the Bills were no joke. It's just
that was a wild card game, Doc.
They get reduced to a footnote because they lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. I'd take that right now.
They let the first one. This isn't. I don't want to go down that path. They let the first one slip away. They should have beat the Giants.
Of course,
they should have beat the Giants. But the Giants, give them credit. They held that ball and neutralized that offense through ground game, and you got to give the Giants credit. They played their game that Sunday, and they walked away with their second Super Bowl.
We call it down the middle on the show, right?
We sure do.
Obviously, I don't like the 49ers, and obviously they're one of the few teams that's in the way of where I want to go. But I respect the team that they've built because they will hit you in the trenches, and they will play physical football, and you have to fear and respect that.
Very true. Next question from Duck Bozard. He says,
"Oh God,
Doc, no, it's a clean one. Doc, which Four Horsemen lineup is hands down your favorite?"
I don't have a hands down favorite.
I do.
I think my favorite is the original 4.
Right.
Followed very closely with inserting Wyndham into that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the underrated one that I think is the one with Benoit and Pillman.
Yeah, I can see why you would say that. Hands down, my favorite is the original. Like, I feel like it's an original movie, but
here's the thing, and we've discussed this. None of them lasted anywhere as long as I thought they did.
Man, you get older and you realize, God damn, that was just a blip on the radar. It's crazy how quick it goes.
This thing that I feel like changed my life, The Horseman, really wasn't that long of a thing.
It wasn't, man. It wasn't. It's insane.
Makes you wonder what else you built all of your thoughts around in the early age that were wrong.
Yeah. All right. Next question. This is from a frequent show contributor, Robert Silva.
I knew this was him.
Doc, what will the Mavericks do this offseason to make them a championship team? Is Jason Kidd the right coach? Do you regret them not keeping Jalen Brunson? So okay. I'm laughing. Hold on. I'm laughing because Doc has been hotter than thick thumb, baby, about these Mavericks lately. He is pissy he is pissed to the highest levels of pistivity. But go ahead, Doc.
Well, and here's why. I realize what I'm getting in January because it's built with the Cowboys. It's built off 30 years of history. But when we're flipping that script over to the NBA and this team with a generational talent like Luka, who has some things that he still needs to learn at his, young, tender age still. And you know me, I'm a huge, huge NBA fan. Like, I'm not a huge college fan. I'm an NBA fan of how that game is played. I don't agree with everything Kyrie says or does, or really his approach to things. But on the court, I like his game a lot. So I don't have the biggest problem with him being here either if he wants to be here. The problem with this team right now is Jason Kidd, full stop. He is a terrible coach. And if you go around and you read things from his second year in Milwaukee, he's doing the same things again to lose the team that he did in Milwaukee. Pushing blame in post-game press conferences to the players instead of owning it and shielding the players, he's doing that again. I can't stand him. Look, he was great. Great player, helped us win a championship. But he's got to go now. They got to fire him. You can't have Kyrie for a couple of months and before that Luka and not make the playoffs. You just can't. Now, when this comes out, we'll already know. Right now, we're still fighting to try to get into the playoffs, which is bullshit in and of itself. We bury Christian Wood on the bench. The rookie that we drafted, Jaden Hardy, is going to be a major player. And we keep playing Dwight Powell's sorry ass and Reggie Bullock's washed up ass. And we need to get and I get it. Kid doesn't think Christian Wood plays defense. Okay. Maxi Kleber, not good. So back to Silva. Silva's enjoying this because he's a basketball guy. Do I regret them not keeping Jalen Brunson? That is a really, really tough question because I really shut up. Are we doing this or not? You're being disrespectful to Silva.
I'm not disrespecting him. The funny part about this is what people don't know that are hearing this is you have been trying to talk to me about this Kid Mavericks nonsense for at least a week now. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't want to hear it. I got my own problems right now trying to get in the playoffs. But go ahead.
So Jalen Brunson is a hell of a player. We stole him in the second round. He's a winner, as evidenced by his work at Villanova. Should we have kept him? In hindsight, it's easy to say yes, but here's my thing. He wanted to go to New York, back home. Okay, that's hard to beat. And I have a belief that his style and size is going to take the tread off his tire with injuries fast. And so what you don't want to do is be in year 4 or 5 of that contract and he ain't playing because he's hurt. So does it hurt this year that he's not here? 100%, no question. When Luka was out in the playoffs last year, he carried us. He's great. I saw him a couple of weeks ago in New York at a game at Madison Square Garden. He scored 16 points in the first quarter. He's great. Long term, I don't know that he's the right answer, but I'm starting to question what I really don't know, Sylvie, and this is the thing is, they got to figure out real quick what kind of assets you put next to Luka to maximize the whole thing. Because Luka's slow. He likes to play slow. He's deliberate. And you put a bunch of athletic brothers, which you need to make up for his deficiencies on the defensive end. They want to get out and run, and Luka's walking the ball up the court. I don't know how you get to that. But I know, here's what I know. I've seen enough to finish this question and move on. I've seen enough Dwight Powell. I've seen enough Maxi Kleber. I've seen enough Reggie Bullock. And I've seen enough Jason Kidd as the coach.
He is so hot right now about Jason Kidd.
I'm really downplaying how mad and just fussy and salty and pissed off I am about this. This is not where we were supposed to be after last year. And yes, Brunson hurts, but I don't think it's all that.
Like I said, pissed off to the highest levels of pistivity is what I'd say. But we'll go to the next question now.
Good question. Good question, Silva. Always thoughtful as thoughtful as usual.
Next question is from Matt Fanert. Matt, I hope I'm saying that correctly. What is the worst and best new ideas that came out of the Turner purchase? This is a tough one.
Yeah, I would say the worst idea is the idea that we're going to be like WWF and we're going to go away from promos to the insect cut boxes of 30-second crap promos.
Yeah, and then you can get into gimmicks too, like whoever brought in the
that
juicer.
follows. Yeah,
and,
the whole idea that we're
know.
going to chase the industry leader, which that's terrible. What's probably
they should have.
I don't know if it's a new idea, but the best thing that's probably good for the talent is the money, guaranteed money.
Well, I mean, if you're Flair, that wasn't a new idea because he didn't get.
No, but a guy like Austin could come from, eating raw potatoes in Memphis to making $1,000 a year.
Making what a year?
100.
I don't think he was making that at first.
Oh, I thought
he was making. Don't get me wrong.
156 was what I thought they brought in.
Nah, he wasn't getting that at that. No.
Okay.
I'm almost positive he was around 75 when he first comes in. Because I thought I heard him say that before, which is still good money. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. That's good money. I'm not trying to say it's not, but yeah, But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think I disagree with you when you talk about money because, I mean, the stars during the JCP era were getting paid good too. I mean, the Horsemen were making bank.
Okay, so one of the other, well, I don't know. I don't know that there are great ideas that come out of the Turner purchase. Because again, here's the problem. You can tune in to Double J's podcast and hear this every once in a while still today in 2023. Corporate wrestling does not work.
I think they're worse than best is hard to clearly say, especially when you're talking about ideas, because
the worst ideas come because now you're starting to get into Arachnaman and Trucker Norm and the Juicer.
Right.
And that's easy.
You get those just stupid cartoonish gimmicks, and you can go down that laundry list of things. Trucker Norm, Ninja Turtle Norman, as we've called it, just Norman and Lunatic in general, Arachnaman. Whoever brought in the Juicer was just a terrible idea. And those are like ideas that are terrible. So like you have or even, Captain Mike Rotunda, like why is he a captain? Like, it just, you get those gimmicks that are terrible. You have things like that are definitely worse. But so you have gimmicks that are bad, but then I'd lump just a new idea after Turner takes over is bringing in Jim Herd. Whoever had that idea that's a wouldn't you see that as like the worst?
Oh yeah.
Jim Herd is the worst, like by default. Or am I thinking about that wrong?
No, I think if that's in the equation and in play, then that's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, because new ideas is that worst and best new ideas is very open to interpretation. Because now, if you were to drill down and say what was the worst gimmick, what was the best gimmick, like then I think you get into some different discussions. Now, if I were to think about gimmicks, I like Johnny B. Bad. I think PN News is hilarious. Like I think those are actually not best, but those are good ideas. You want to talk about best things after Turner, bringing in Rick Rude, bringing in Steve Austin. But if you get too long down the Turner purchase too, you'll then see things like, well, when Austin's fired, that becomes a worse idea, So it depends on your time frame that you're looking at it too. If you're talking about where we're at now, great ideas are bringing in Austin and, forming a dangerous alliance and Rick Rude, is what I'd say. But it's a good question. I mean, you could go on forever depending on how you want to view the new ideas.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Longtime patron. Another longtime patron, Greg Gilpin.
No. He had a second question on that you sent me.
Matt did?
Yeah.
Okay. I must be getting into Greg's and it just didn't separate. because the next question, I have the screenshots in front of me. That's why there was no second one on Matt's. Greg's question was, what is an angle in wrestling that you actually enjoy that might surprise us, knowing your view on how wrestling needs to be serious in order to draw you in? Thanks for answering from a fellow die-hard Cowboys fan.
How about them Cowboys? That's what I'm talking about. 17-0 next year.
Super Bowl suck it, right? Okay.
Running the motherfucking table.
So what is an angle in wrestling that you actually enjoy that might surprise us, knowing your view on wrestling?
I have a few.
Okay.
One is I really popped when Al Snow had head in ECW.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And they had all those mannequin heads in the crowd. That was wild. They were a little silly and a little not silly, but I really like the New Age Outlaws.
That's a good one.
Like yesterday I was mad at work and I just went to YouTube and watched Oh You Didn't Know and watched them come out and I was laughing. And so I thought they were tremendous for what they do. Good ups for Billy Gunn, still out there kicking it and looking tremendous in 2023. I liked the first iteration of the Dudleys.
Yeah, the goofy one.
Comedy.
Yeah.
Sign Guy Dudley and all that. Dances with Dudleys.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. I thought that was funny too. And I think that's funny that some of those gimmicks were in ECW when we think it was all blood and guts. ECW was more diversified than people give it credit for sometimes.
Yeah, there was some comedy in there for sure.
And so I like absurd, ridiculous things in wrestling. Because it's an absurd and ridiculous sport when you stop and really think about it. It's choreographed fighting. So this
I got one for you that I put in this.
Okay.
But go ahead. I want you to finish first.
No, I think that was the ones that came to mind, but I'm sure there's more. Those are the ones off the top of my head.
So this wouldn't surprise anyone, so this doesn't quite fit Greg's question, but it always pops me. But it is comedy and hilarious. Is Jay Lethal and Ric Flair and TNA and that woo-off. That is straight comedy stupidity, but it's so good that I think if you really look at that, it was really kind of dumb. They're going to argue.
Rick's sweating and going, you can't do me. You can't do.
Right. That shit's gold, bruh, but it's not serious at all. Like it's
and here's one. And it's how they're doing it so well because it's so personal and so serious and everybody's invested. But even in the current product, we pop over Wise Man and Tribal Chief.
That's a good one. Real good one. Yep.
And it's an extra little layer of how great everything they're doing is with that it's hilarious. Like me and Latrell call each other Tribal Chief and Wise Man around the house. Like last night I went into his room, it was like, Tribal Chief, it's almost bedtime. You need to go, I need you to go brush your teeth. Like a sure thing, Wise Man. So that's one of them.
I got one for you that
what was the one a few years ago where was it Damien Sandow was doing all the different wrestlers?
Oh no, when he was like Miz's stunt double, is that one you're talking about?
Oh, that was good too. Funny.
It was really silly, but it was funny.
And so I'm okay with it as long as it's not being presented as the main event. I think you got to keep the world championship sacred. I just do. Otherwise, everything else that we do in this industry falls apart.
I got one for you that I've heard non-wrestling fans that I've known and grown up with, family members say it's dumb, but to us it's never been dumb. And you'll know exactly, you'll go, oh yeah, as soon as I say it. So Muda misting people and blinding people to a non-wrestling fan who's never watched wrestling before and never been a fan, they think it's dumb.
I've never heard that.
I've heard it from people I grew up with. They're like, he just spit in his face. That's gross. There's nothing there. I don't get it. I'm like, bro, you don't understand. It fucking blinds you, and it doesn't blind you, really. But like, they went through the phase where when it was the yellow mist, it would do this and burn more or whatever, and you get the green mist. If you really think about it, is misting someone really gonna take out their eyes? No, their eyes closed. They open them, and then they're about to go at it with you.
I don't get that. That's that.
I'm just repeating. I love The Mist. Let me be clear.
The Mist is great. Fireballs, Mist, all that stuff. Yeah.
The Mist is so great that when Rosemary did it in TNA years ago,
I came off the couch.
We popped like we were 6 again.
I jumped off my couch.
Yep. Yeah. So, okay, there's another one that might surprise you, knowing how serious we want wrestling to be. We like the whole Matt Hardy
that was delete
stuff in TNA when we were watching it years ago.
Yeah. Jeff Hardy being itchweed.
Itchweed. There you go. Yeah. Well, Matt, I'd say Jeff, but we're talking about Matt with the deleted, but the whole, everything.
Remember when they came
to
the Rock and Roll showed up and they get green beans?
Green beans, yes. Tremendous. Just insanity, but yeah. Chuck Scum wants to know, I have no clue what he's talking about here. Husker Du or Sugar, and favorite album of your pick?
Okay, so this is an interesting one. Because legitimately speaking, this is true, Chuck. We're not going to mention any names here, but my main homie, Mike knows who I'm talking about. He and I have debated this for years. We've talked about it. I've spent literal hours drinking beer, listening to these albums, and me and my friend here have talked about them. And up to the point where I got this question last night, and I texted him, and he was like, "Well, how are you going to respond?" Because this is awesome. So here's the thing: Husker Du is Husker Du. They are legendary. They are amazing.
Husker Du. I said Husker Du.
I know. But for me, the problem is they recorded on the cheap back in the 80s, underground indie punk SST time, and their recordings don't sound great to me. Sugar is a criminally underrated band that put out 2 of the best records I own in Copper Blue and Fall Under Easy Listening. So I'm going to go with Sugar, but that does not discount the impact that Husker Du made. I also really enjoy Bob Mould, who's the singer for both and worked for WCW in the 90s. His solo stuff is still great up until the last album he put out, and I went and saw him about a year and a half ago. Tremendous. The best song there's 2 best songs that Bob Mould's ever been a part of, in my opinion. One is G Angel from Fall Under Easy Listening and Divide and Conquer from Husker Du. But there's a lot of them. The best album is Copper Blue from Sugar, top to bottom is a classic. But my favorite Husker Du record is also Flip Your Wig, because it has Divide and Conquer, Makes No Sense at All, and Keep Hanging On, which are 3 of my favorite Husker Du songs. You can tell here, we have spent a lot of time, me and my buddy, dissecting this, which one is better. If you are also a fan of independent indie music, the other discussion that me and my boy have had for years and years and years is, which breakup of Uncle Tupelo produced the best first record? Was it Wilco or Sunvolt? And there is a definite right answer to that. Thank you, Chuck Scum, for the question.
That's our buddy Chuck Gunther that Harper knows well and still can't say his name. He says Gertner. So there's that. Chuck always goes to the Wildcat X-Rated.
But you can't go wrong with Husker Du, Sugar, Bob Mould, and really even Grant Hart in any version at all. It's all good. All goodness.
The next question comes from Sean on Patreon, and Sean says, Doc, how do you feel about them boys picking up Gilmore and Cooks? Another football question here.
Yeah, Stephen Gilmore and Brandon Cooks. Okay, so it's a departure from the strategy that we've put together in the last few years, which is not chasing a lot of free agents. I wonder what that, to me, that what makes me wonder if McCarthy has a greater voice in personnel matters since he's taken over play calling, and he's like, this is my ass, so I need to be more involved. I got to, lick the Cheeto dust off my fingers and get to work here. My concern about Gilmore is his age at 33. What does he have left? Don't know. Hope it's a lot. Brandon Cooks, we had to have somebody else to get open for Dak. You told me the guy's a cancer, but, he's here now, so he's one of us.
Okay, so here's the only thing I'll say about Cooks. Ask yourself this question. Sean Payton, Super Bowl winning coach. Bill Belichick, Super Bowl winning coach. Sean McVay, Super Bowl winning coach. All three of them have traded him. Like, what is wrong? And he's productive. That's the thing. It's not that he's not productive. Something is amiss there that you've had top tier coaches who have said, yeah, we don't want this dude on our team.
We'll welcome him with open arms and make it work.
I'm sure that's going to work well in Dallas, let me just say. But good question, Sean. Thank you for sending that in. Sean's a long-time patron, BTT Hall of Famer. So good stuff. Let's keep going. We got two more. Scott Steele wants to know, Doc, when you go to the Betty Ford Clinic for alcoholism, which famous cowboy room do you want? The Michael Irvin suite or the Hollywood Henderson suite? Jesus.
Well, they both do powders, and I don't. I don't want to go with Troy Aikman because he has a new beer. I don't know if you know that. He made a beer.
I did not know that.
Okay. Well, it's super weak. It's like one of those beers that, it's for the golf course where you can drink like 30 of them and feel bloated and have a big gut and not be drunk.
All right.
And I'm too cheap to go to Betty Ford.
Okay.
I'm just going to go lay down and do withdrawals in the backyard and shake and take all that. Have a seizure.
Okay.
Give me Michael Irvin.
All right. There you go. Not a bad pick. All right. And the last question from our pilot patron out there who's helped us out on the dark side of the, not dark side of the ring, Tales from the Territories episodes. We had a couple of plane incidents, and David is a pilot and has been so for many years. So we called him in for some help. David Chauvin wants to know, Doc, of the following, who is the best dick dancer gimmick? And he listed Brutus Beefcake, Rick Rude, the American Males, or PN News. This is tremendous. Okay, he's talking to Mrs. Doc or something. Go ahead. Let me answer the question. I'll fill some time. You let me know when you get back. So, David, that's a good question. If I read that question and said, who is the best dick dancer, and you didn't list a name, I would have to go with like a Stan Lane or someone. But because you listed Brutus Beefcake, Rick Rude, American Males, and PN News, I got to go with Rick Rude. But an honorable mention has to be given to PN News and the absurdity of his so-called dick dancing. Doc, are you back yet?
I apologize. We're getting a new card delivered here today.
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to happen today, so I had to say what?
Wow. You're showing your privilege, man. You get them delivered to you. I've never done that in my life, but
I haven't either, and it's a lease, and I've never done that either. So I'm not at all comfortable with any of this. So not my privilege. It's what other halves of relationships strong arm you into doing.
You proceed. I hear you, bro. I hear you.
I'm going with Rick Rude, and I'm going to throw in a wild card person that we don't talk about enough in that regard.
Okay.
You know who used to grind it hard was Val Venus.
Well, he listed of the four.
I know. It is definitely Rick Rude.
Okay, then go ahead.
Rick Rude was grinding the shit out of things, man. When he had fucking, who was its wife, Jake or Macho? He had Elizabeth
Jake
on his dick while he's dancing. That was tremendous.
Yeah.
I love Rick Rude, man. He's a hell of a professional wrestler, so I'm going to go with him. We are pretty close to getting some American Male action, aren't we?
Well, Bagwell, for sure, yes.
And
it's funny, when he's first in, this white meat baby face, young kid.
So he's hollowing out the rats.
Oh, God, he was just, yeah, you can imagine. So yes, we're about to get him. Okay, so you're going with Rick Rude in that selection.
Yes.
Good deal. All right, so that was Ask Doc, the second part. And if you're listening to this on Patreon, thank you for being a patron. You're getting this early. If you're not a patron and maybe you want future opening segments like that in the future, hey, we'll consider it if there's enough traction. But tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT is where you can sign up and become a patron and get access to all of our Patreon exclusive shows. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT, get access to not only the Ask Doc segment we just did. We got a clash coming up in a few days from now that's gonna drop shortly after this show drops, the day after, I believe. So you can listen to our Clash review there, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Plus, Halloween Havoc is in the rearview mirror. That, plus 400 plus Patreon exclusive shows are available. One more time, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Support the show and help us out. Doc, you were about to say something? Did I cut you off?
Maybe we'll do an Ask Menace anything.
Boy, that would be funny. Jesus Christ. I can already hear it. So, Mike, what are you? And I'm not going to answer that question. Anyway,
that's for
us. But you know what? I would be open to doing that. But one we won't do. We're not doing Ask Harper. It's not happening.
It can't. He can't. He doesn't know how to play.
He does not know how to do it. All right, Doc. So we've reached the end of Ask Doc. Let's get into this week's episode of Saturday Night on TBS. Again, covering November the 16th, 1991. I guess you can look at it as the go home show for the Clash that is coming up, Clash 17. So we are at Center Stage this week. This episode was taped November the 11th of 1991. So this episode is after we did Halloween Havoc 91. So we finally
It is also apparently been jizzed on or something, because this tape is struggling. It's trying to do the Von Erich thing.
Yeah, I was about to get to that. There's a reported 800 people in attendance at Center Stage. Jim Ross welcomes us into the show. Our copy that we have has some audio issues, especially in the beginning. The VCR tape had some tracking issues, let's just say that. Those things, they don't have them anymore like they did in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Well, some people still have them, but they don't really sell them anymore. Anyway, so there may have been some crust on the tape, and that's all we'll say. So the opening of this show, we do get a promo from Ron Simmons, and you can hear the audio issues in it. JR says that Ron had a wrist injury, but Ron is here to tell you he deserves another chance at the world title, and he asked for an opportunity. I'm not going to play it because of the audio issues, but did you have anything from it, Doc?
Yes. In my opinion, Ron has made two big jumps in the last couple of years. First, Doom was a big level up for him, and now this position as contender for the world title. We're watching him really come into his own, and it's to me it's important to remind ourselves of that, because it's easy to forget watching day by day. And we talk about this stuff, so it's like, well, he's not going to win the title or blah 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 blah. He's really leveled up the last couple of years.
Can't disagree there. You are hitting the nail on the head, sir. He is a top shelf talent. He cuts good promos. He looks the part. He acts the part. I got nothing but respect for Ron Simmons. And do yourself a favor, if you've got the Peacock or the network, wherever you live, go watch his Broken Skull sessions with Steve Austin. He's kind of all over the place at times in it, but there's just some interesting stuff in the Broken Skull session. I don't want to spoil it for you.
And to that end, one of the things that I've been talking about is if you don't listen, and I don't know where this is about to go based on but on the Arn podcast, they've been covering this time, and they asked him what he thought about Ron being elevated to this level, and Arn was like, look, man, he's a man's man. He had the respect. He worked hard. Who's going to have a problem with it? And if they did, who's going to say something?
Because as Tony Schiavone used to say, Ron would say, I'm unfuckwittable.
Yeah. So.
And we believe it. Yeah. Yeah, man. He's the part, dude. He looks the part for sure. All right. Well, we'll continue. Ron Simmons in contention again. Let's keep moving. First matchup is Cactus Jack versus TC Carter. Man, Cactus beats the piss out of this dude. I mean, he just beats him down, drops the elbow on the outside, all the stuff you would consider him to do. He ends up putting a submission move. Cactus puts Carter in a submission move, and Cactus wins. It was basically a basic armbar. Doc, you got any timestamps or anything from this one?
Yeah, can you go back to the beginning when they're just in the ring before the bell rings?
You mean when Carter jumps out the ring?
Sort of.
All
Right there. I
Yeah.
feel like that look is me and you hanging out in 1995.
What look?
You're TC Carter with the hat, the pimp hat,
No.
the jacket,
No.
and I'm Cactus with long hair. And
No, sir. No. I'm not, no, I ain't dressing.
you still had twisty ties, right? You didn't have any
Jesus
style yet.
Christ. This is 1991. I'm still in high school, okay? So, no, I didn't have the twisty ties yet. But wow.
Mama Menace wouldn't go for that.
Probably not.
What the fuck is wrong with your head, son?
That broad used to whoop my ass, man. She
Why?
claimed to be 5'4". She was closer to 5'2", but she was violent.
Why?
Oof.
Because she had
Bro.
to raise you? I mean, I could
Them
see how
old
dealing
school,
with you
bro,
on
them
a
old
daily
school
basis.
parents, they didn't give two shits. Call child support. I whipped their ass too.
They were not your friend.
Fuck no. They weren't
were-
to be played with.
They were not there to guide you gently through what the world was going to throw at you.
Not a chance, bro. They were hard on you because they knew the world was going to beat your ass.
I bring that up quite often around here.
Bro, I say it every day because these kids have no idea.
What's
least-
out there when mom is not there to fix everything for you.
Yep.
By the way, just to go back to that last match with Cactus real quick, here's my point. You don't have to go back. I can't wait for Clash because we get Cactus versus Van Hammer.
Yes. Totally agree.
Go ahead. We're going to put you in there. Now, here, we figured out the problem with us being worried about you crippling somebody, Van. We're going to put you in with somebody who likes pain, and you can't cripple them.
like they said, Ron Simmons was unfuckwittable. Cactus Jack is uncrippleable back then.
There you go.
We keep moving. We go to From Web City, the Arachnaman versus Pat Rose. Doc, Brad really looks good. It's just, I can't get past the gimmick, man. I just can't do it.
So here's my question. As we give this more oxygen than it deserves, why is a spider for the fucking kids?
Spider-Man was a comic book hero. That's why. It's all in the presentation.
Harper thinks he looks like a peanut.
Well, he's got a point. If you go look at the Planner's Peanut dude, his head kind of does look like that. Like the way.
I'm just saying
he's
that. Look,
right.
I'm not a huge fan of snakes at all, and I don't really like spiders. So the kids are more likely to be frightened of the spider than into the spider.
Not necessarily because you had Spider-Man that set the precedent that they weren't scared of.
Spider-Man's stupid.
Okay, well, I'm telling you why this is not a bad thing.
It's awful. You
Okay.
like a
no.
man,
I'm saying when I say bad thing, I mean in terms of like a kid's not going to be scared of a spider because a kid is looking at this going, oh look, it's a purple and yellow Spider-Man. And look at Brad, he's leaning into it because he's crawling around like a spider, bruh. Like I feel bad for him. They just threw so much garbage on him.
This is garbage.
It really was. Brad wins with ease. I have trouble calling him Arachnaman, but he wins with ease here, and that's that. It was dumb. I mean, I'm not even trying to. And him and Pat Rose actually had a good match. It was what it needed to be, but it's just the gimmick is just so stupid. So I mean, I don't know what else you can say. Doc, they then go to another top 10. Tony Schiavone takes us through the top 10. We then go to Eric Bischoff with the WCW magazine and another Clash 4 segment. He runs down the card. Luger Steiner, Sting versus Rude, Pillman versus Bad, Dustin and Barry Windham versus the Enforcers. And there's more, but that's a really solid start if you think about it. And he also throws to footage of Steiner and Luger that we've already discussed previously on the shows. Bischoff shows Rick Rude's interview with Paulie and Medusa from Halloween Havoc. that you can hear us discuss on Patreon at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. A lot of recaps here and just showing who is on the card during this segment. Doc, did you have anything from it? Solid card, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Which is why we're doing this, so that Harper can join us for this and shit all over it, for reasons
well,
we
there
don't
is some
understand.
dumb stuff. Big Josh and Tommy Rich. I mean, ugh.
Come on. Now, wouldn't Gordon be cheaper than Bischoff? Like, all you got to do with Gordon is like keep him in gin, and he's all right.
That's fucked up.
Here's another jug of gin. Oh, thank you.
I don't think young people there are young people who listen to us, believe it or not, but I don't think young people who listen to us understand. We're not like making fun of him as much as we're having fun with it. But back then, that generation, they were some goddamn alcoholics every night drinking hard,
smoking and drinking.
Dude, we had this discussion yesterday about the smoke, but just like Gordon's generation. I had a talk with a guy that I didn't grow up with. He was about 15 years older than me about a year or so ago. And we had this discussion about, he was like, guys that back then that were like Gordon's age, he's like, the first thing they did, if they hadn't already done it at work during lunch or even in their office, was they were pouring a glass of liquor when they walked in the door from work. And that might've been the second or third glass they had that afternoon.
Love it.
So when people say, man, why y'all act like Gordon was an alcoholic, bruh, it wasn't him. It was a generational thing.
Bro, the whole parents of the 70s just kind of went to work and then checked out on their kids.
Jesus Christ, boy, you ain't lying about that. You ain't lying. We were raised by no one at times.
Bro, you just...
We had to find a way before cell phones and contact could be made with people. Do you know how many times I walked home and sat at home for hours on end before my mom got home?
Yeah.
Like, I'm from a single parent household, bro. I spent a whole lot of hours like with myself.
Or you come in the house at like 10 years old and your parents are like, where you been?
Yeah.
Like it's your college roommate and shit. Bro. I'm like, well, I was over a couple streets over playing with, some kids. Oh, okay.
Let me repeat. I lived close enough where I could ride my bike to the French Quarter as a kid.
And let's be clear about something.
As a kid.
It's dangerous now, but it was no joke back then.
Bro, I would be miles from my house on a bike. Okay?
With no one knowing where the fuck you were.
You were. All right, let's keep going. Dustin Rhodes versus Greg Sawyer in the next match. JR says they still don't know the status of Barry's wrist, although he wrestled 2 weeks ago and looked fine on this show because it was taped before Halloween Havoc. Let me go to you, Doc, for your thoughts on this one.
Continue to like what Dustin is bringing to the table. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Lots of arm drags in this match. When's the last time you saw an arm drag in the current product? As we see one there, right there on cue in the video.
To be truthful, I've probably seen it, but I'm just not paying attention for it.
But you know what I'm saying.
Recently. But
sometimes we miss the easy stuff in the current product.
Oh yeah. I think it's used. It's just they really were doing some arm drags. And, Dustin was one of those guys, man, he threw a good arm drag. Steamboat was another one that just had beautiful arm drags, so. But you're right. We kind of do miss those things in current product. By the way, speaking of current product.
I'm sure by the time this comes out, we will have seen a ton of them in WrestleMania a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm looking forward to watching SmackDown tonight before the go-home show before Mania. I've been checking out SmackDown, man. I'm going
to be at a soccer tournament tonight, one night tournament thing.
I've been checking out the new product, man. There's no real football on. Sorry, XFL fans. I like it, but it sometimes is a little mud show for me. But yeah, man. I'm ready for the CFL, but that doesn't start until first week in June. So there's that. It's not what you told me offline. All right. Dustin wins with a bulldog. Any other thoughts, Doc?
No, it's good.
So from there, we do need to go to a promo because we get Dustin Rhodes and maybe there's a run-in. Let's see how this goes.
Another great victory for Dustin Rhodes via the Bulldog headlock. And I know that all the great fans here at Center Stage appreciate your efforts, but I know you're gearing up Tuesday night, the biggest tag team match of your life, as you and Barry Windham are scheduled to go against the Enforcers for the World Tag Team Championship. But as we all know, Barry's got a very banged up wrist. What is the status of the situation, and how are you preparing for it?
Well, Jim Ross, you know that nobody knows their status right now, but this is the first time in my professional career that I can step in the ring for the World Tag Team titles. Now, if there's any way possible at the Clash of Champions November 19th that Barry be there, he will, believe me, he will. He's tough. And Larry Zbyszko and Arn Anderson, if you got any guts, you'll face us both, the Clash of Champions, face to face.
Well, it looks as if we're being joined by Mr. Anderson here, and obviously you have heard Mr. Rhodes' comments.
Dustin Rhodes, my granddaddy told me, God bless his soul, that children until they reach puberty should be seen and not heard. So shut your mouth and listen. The fact that Barry Windham is wanting to bear the cross of the entire wrestling world, don't take your short career, as glorious as it may be, and jump on the end of that lightning bolt. Barry Windham is gone. He's gone forever. Barry Windham knows how I operate. He should have expected it. But I don't want you, as glorious as your career may be, to use this platform of myself and Larry Zbyszko to glorify your own career. Just walk away. Find something else to do, because the life you save may be your own.
Hey, come on.
Well, Arn Anderson, evidently, it's only you and me right now standing out here. So let's quit talking about it, and if you got any guts, get in the ring right now, and let's settle it right now, Pally.
Well, the young man has thrown down the gauntlet. You got to settle the situation right here.
As always, I pick my spots. Nothing in this world is free. Remember that.
Fans, what a matchup. Will Barry Windham be at Dustin Rhodes' side or not? Perhaps we'll find out not until Tuesday.
Jim Ross, Clash of Champions, we will be there. You can count on it.
And he used the term we, as in plural. What a matchup Tuesday night, and when we come back, it's Mr. Hughes after this timeout.
I got no problem with this. This was pretty good. What'd you think?
I thought it was great. Arn basically pantsed him in public, dude. Kids should be seen and not heard. That's why we had to leave the house.
Children before they reach puberty should be seen and not heard. That's a great line. And he repeated a line he's used before when he says, the life you save may be your own. But yeah. Dustin didn't back down, though, man. He didn't,
and that's what's good is that we're out here building up Dustin while we're also letting Arn get his shit in. And that's the goal, is to get everybody over. So to me, that whole segment did what it was supposed to do from the get-go.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked it a
lot. I mean, Arn just like when he took off the glasses, I was like, okay, he's going to get hit, but then he didn't. And then when Dustin slapped him back on the chest, he looked down at his chest. That was a nice little move.
Bro, that shit was great. I love that. And I love Arn being a chicken shit and walking away.
Well, he's not being a chicken shit. He's just not properly motivated with the check.
Well, no, that's kind of the heel.
I'm not going to wrestle you here for free. We're going to do this for big money. When I have the advantage and I know I'm dictating the terms.
No. What I mean is, no. I'm not going to let you try to goad me into fighting now.
Yeah,
you're gonna do it on my terms when I say I'm
that's
ready.
What I just said.
No, you didn't say it like that. He's kind of chicken shitting it. He's getting out of it. I ain't fighting you right now. He's being a heel. He comes off as a coward, which is what he should look like. Now, if he'd came out there with more than one person, that'd even been better. Because then he walks away. It's like, wait, you got the no. If he comes out there with more than one person, then he's like, oh yeah, let's do it. And then when he realizes, oh, the odds may be even. No, I'm not doing it. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Nothing. That was great.
Mr. Hughes takes on Buddy Baker in the next match. Baker is a frumpy looking fella, is my note.
God.
I don't mean that as literal, like half pint little fella. I mean,
I have two notes. Buddy Baker looks like Jerry Lawler got hit with a meth ray.
Okay. He just looks frumpy, bro.
Yeah, he looks like Jerry the King Lawler got a lifetime supply of Twinkies.
Well, Hughes wins pretty quickly with like a choke slam of sorts. Any other
here's
notes?
Here's my other question. So apparently I was watching Raw this week when this match was on and I got distracted. So I got a question for you since you've been watching some current product lately. Does Trish Stratus look better in 2023 than she did even 20 years ago?
I don't think so.
Oh, so you don't like old broads. Okay.
Let me say something. She looks good now. I'm not trying to say she looks bad.
Tremendous now.
But 20 years ago, she was definitely all the way live. We talked about her years ago. Okay. We talked about her years ago on this show, and I was like, man, she was. I
saw a picture floating around this week with her, Lita, Stacy, and Tori in the prime, and I was like, God, you kidding me? That what we're doing here? Jesus Christ, thoroughbreds in a thoroughbred convention.
Yeah. I'm not saying nothing else.
And Lita was the secret dark horse because she was willing to get down and dirty.
Yeah, going back to Trish, man, she's something, bro. She's something. She still looks good to this day, man.
Of course, that's why I brought it up. I got distracted because I saw her on Raw. I was like, damn.
It's hard to believe it's been that long.
Yeah, we're all gonna die soon.
Okay. Wow. All right. So
time is irrelevant when the robots take over. They don't keep time that way.
Anything else on Hughes?
No, he's good. He whooped that boy like he owned him. Wait, what?
Jim Ross throws us to several replays of things with Long, Bad, Graham, Pillman over the last couple of weeks. I mean, It's led to an interesting match this week, which we are going to go to right now. Johnny B. Bad and the Diamond Stud and Teddy Long. It's a heck of a combination, or with Teddy Long, I should say, versus Pillman and Graham. Teddy has the worst looking shower cap, headgear. It's like a swimmer's hat. I don't know what the hell he got on his head. This ain't necessarily HD, so it's kind of hard to tell. But anyway, Doc, thoughts on this matchup that's evolved out of these last couple of weeks worth of angles?
I wanted to know what Teddy's wearing on his head.
It's like a swimmer's cap, but it's hard to tell because it's not in HD. You really can't see what it is.
Okay.
It looks stupid. He's got wrestling boots on like he's gonna... Look at this dude, bro. Oh, Teddy looks hilarious, but I'm not saying no more, Doc. What do you have from this thing?
Teddy is great, though. In this whole match, he is tremendous.
Oh, he's killing me. He's hilarious. He's got the wrestling boots, the jeans, he's got his shirt tucked into his jeans, his sleeveless t-shirt tucked into his jeans. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. I was wondering during this match, I wonder if Graham and Razor ever crossed paths in Florida.
Yeah, I don't know. I want y'all to
out there if
DM
anybody wants to do any independent research.
DM Harper, please.
Yeah, ask Harper. He'd be like,
No, here's what I want people to do. Send that to Harper and tell him to relay the message to us. I want to see how hot he gets.
bruh. Why the fuck
Bro,
is
what are these
everybody asking
people
me
talking
Mike
about?
Graham in fucking Florida.
Did I ask that question on the show? And we can tell him, yeah, you did.
He won't remember.
He won't remember. Look at Teddy, man. This is great.
Poor Teddy, man. He's gonna do all that get ready and then hurt himself.
He really is.
That's true old people stuff right there. I was gonna work out and I got hurt stretching.
Pretty much. All right. What else you got from this? I don't have a ton of notes from it. I got the finish, but I don't have a ton of notes. They let them go for a while, which is funny.
58-38. I don't know what it was, but I said funny.
All right, let's go to it. 58. We're at 58-34 right here. Is it Scott Hall and Mike Graham with the
I'm a
test
tall
of strength?
fella, so I like doing that to people. Give me a high five.
Man, look at Scott Hall's arms right there. He jacked.
Yeah, let's just job him out every chance we get.
For real. Pathetic. Any other time
But Van Hammer looks like $1 million, so we're going to push his ass. Wait a minute.
Pushed the wrong guy. They pushed the wrong guy.
You mean that cardboard box with the guitar over there? Okay.
They pushed the wrong guy. Wrong guy. It's amazing because you think about what happens with Scott Hall, goes with Razor, and then comes back and he's one of the biggest stars in the promotion when he comes back in '96.
Gee. It's almost like
It's almost like the universe corrected itself. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to the finish here. Bad has Graham in a chin lock. Graham hot tags to Pillman. Pillman comes in on fire. Several nice drop kicks. Pillman and Bad collide hard in the middle of the ring. Long grabs Pillman, and Bad goes to throw a left hook at Pillman, but he ducks, and Johnny ends up hitting Teddy Long. Ooh. Pillman pins Long, and Pillman and Graham win by pin. The interesting thing here is the bad blood, I guess, that ends up brewing between Bad and Long when Bad accidentally hits his manager. What do you think, Doc, about how that all goes down?
I'm going to sound like Harper. I guess.
Well,
I mean, we got to get there somehow.
Yeah, you got to get there somehow. Here it is. So that part makes sense to me. You have to get there somehow. And if you're going to turn this dude, that's not actually a bad way to do it. The manager's holding Pillman. You know, Bad goes to hit Pillman. Pillman knocks out Teddy. Teddy's selling the piss out of it. He's knocked out. Oh, man. Good stuff though. I actually like this. I don't know how much I like the way they've, Graham and Pillman. They could have just did this with Pillman and Bad, but
I got it.
What are you going to do? All right. Any other thoughts?
No, I'm okay with it, I guess.
Did you want me to play the promo with Luger and Harley Race and Mr. Hughes? I feel like it's meat and potatoes.
Because I actually like, there's a line in this that I liked.
All right, let me go back then.
And I know you're mad. You're ready to
No, I'm good. I just didn't know if you wanted me to play it.
You have to make this go so long. This sucks.
Or you're speaking for yourself, but that's fine. Let's go to Jim Ross, who throws to Lex Luger, Harley Race, and Mr. Hughes here.
Rick Steiner right here on TBS. Clash of Champions this Tuesday night. Buddy, it's coming down to where it's all going to happen, and it's going to happen right this time around. You're not going to intimidate. You're not going to embarrass. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going down to the total package.
You know how it couldn't come any sooner? The moment of truth has arrived. Because I am sick and tired of hearing people, oh, can Rick Steiner beat you? You think you could take him? What about that belly-to-belly on TV? I've had it up to here. Because Rick Steiner, everybody likes to root for the underdog. And any wrestler up against the total package is always the underdog. Because they all have shortcomings, which I don't. They're either too dumb, they're either too short, they're not strong enough, they're not smart enough, and you're all of the above, Rick Steiner. So when you get in the Clash of Champions with me, I'm going to show you for the inferior athlete and the inferior wrestler, the inferior person that you are.
And let me tell you just a little bit more, Steiner. Once you walk in that ring and I unleash this on you, it's going to be the thing that happens that's going to stick in your mind forever, Steiner.
Payback time.
Ladies!
All right, what'd you think about it? I know you liked it because you wanted to play it.
Yeah, I like where he outlines all the deficiencies and then tells Steiner he's got all of them. You're all of the above.
Dude, yeah, I agree. Harley Race, he could not be saying nothing, but the voice
I believe
is
him,
what
though.
does it. Yes. Agree. That was good. That was good. I mean, look, we're go home show before the Clash, so good stuff. We continue and we go to the next match. We have Oz versus Rick Steiner. And here's my notes, Doc. Oz went from a $100,000 set during his debut in a monkey doing the Burger King thing to now being enhancement talent for Rick Steiner leading into the Clash. Now, I'm not taking a shot at Kevin Nash here. Not at all. It's the stupidity of Jim Herd on display. We couldn't think of anything better but to make this man Oz, which we didn't even talk about when we went through the Ask Doc questions with bad ideas. This is certainly one of them, Oz. This is just, boy, they're wasting this dude. Thoughts?
And prayers.
Well, I'm not trying to say Kevin Nash at this point doesn't need
Here's the thing.
seasoning,
I'm not
man.
a huge Kevin Nash fan in any form. And even I wrote down poor Kevin Nash.
Right. He's just being mistreated.
I think he's smarmy. He's the kind of guy that I would not want to be around in real life because he thinks he's smarter than you for real and is going to try to remind you of that shit. And I'm like, bruh, don't. But
I don't think it's that. I just think it's the way he talks, the way his flow and tone is.
And they never explained what is Oz, what's the point, why was he here, and now it doesn't matter because we're just jobbing him out.
For real. Well, Steiner gets a win over a big man. I guess maybe that was what they were trying to do. Who knows?
I get why Nash and Hall wanted to squash everybody when they came back.
I agree. Boy, you just said a mouthful after what they dealt with in 91 for sure. All right, man.
This is
well,
green tag team right here.
Boy, this next match is something else. This is going to put asses in the seats, bro. Let me tell you. PN News and the Z-Man versus Steve Austin and Van Vader. Hit rewind about 5 times to watch I hit rewind 5 times to watch the introductions on this thing, man. This is when I got to this point in the show, I was like, wait, are we really doing this? We got Z-Man doing the fist pump like News because he's acting like News. What are your thoughts on this insanity?
This is insanity.
It's like a freak show, man. It's not that they're all freaks, but it's like I would have never thought of these 4 guys having. If somebody would have told you 6 months ago, hey, Vader, Austin are going to team up against PN News and Z-Man, do you believe it? True or false? You would have been like, oh, it's false. That's not happening.
No, and I just think about this. 6 years from now, Austin would look across the ring at those two and go, I ain't working with them.
Right.
He might even do it to Vader. Maybe.
I don't know. When Vader was on his show,
I was like, what? He said Leon told him, Steve, let a cooler head prevail. I'm like, that's a great line, unless you're the guy over in Kuwait that starts choking the TV host with the Undertaker and gets thrown in a jail.
That's probably why he said that, though, because he learned his lesson.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you think about it, I hate, not that you're doing this, but I hate when people in life say that. They're like, hey, person XYZ said do this in this situation, but look what they did. Well, yeah, they may have learned from what they did. And if they're saying
the lazy assumption, which is true, is most people don't learn them. Now, why is Vader not wearing his headgear?
He took it off. He had it on and took it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Vader bumped too much in this match for my liking.
Who?
Vader.
Who did? I just wouldn't have did this match, but hey, again,
this is unnecessary nonsense.
And it wasn't like it was like super short. It wasn't long, but it wasn't like super short either. I do have a timestamp.
Okay, I don't have anything else. This just threw me off my.
All
right,
was
messed up.
Watch this. News shakes his ass at Austin. Get a little dick dancing. Look. Watch News. News breaks out of like a bear hug type move and shakes his ass at Austin. Does Steve Austin look like somebody who would take that joke lightly and get a laugh out of that?
Brother, I realize that you're trying to entertain the crowd here, but I'd appreciate if you keep that shit to yourself.
For real. And then here's my next timestamp. News body slams Vader.
Come on, that's what I was saying. He shouldn't be taking that.
Here it comes. Went up, and I mean, News holds him up for a while before he slams him.
Why are we letting this fucking bowl of Jello take Vader off his feet in 1991? Look,
don't know, brother.
He bumping for zinc though.
No, he moving. Look, it took News to drop kick him out the ring for him to sell it. Oh, boy. All right. So let me go to the finish. This match was actually kind of comical in some ways when you think about how it went down with Dick dancing from News, shaking his ass at Austin. But anyway, so the finish, Z-Man tags News. News bumps Austin and even throws a really decent drop kick. There's a nice gut wrench suplex. News sets Austin up for the broken record, and he catches Austin. Vader, though, drops a big elbow on News as News had Austin pinned, and Austin rolls over just enough to pin News. It wasn't a bad finish. Like, Vader and Austin needed to win, but it just I sat there mesmerized, kind of watching this, thinking, God damn, this is just a weird matchup. Like I kept as I watch it play out, I'm like, God, I never would have thought. Like, it's one thing to have News versus Austin. We knew that happened. But to have these four guys having a tag match on a Saturday night in 1991, it just struck me as like really odd is the best way for me to say it.
I agree.
So we'll keep moving on that note. So we'll keep going. And, well, we got Steve Armstrong in singles action versus Rick Rude.
I thought Steve Armstrong was a heel now.
Point taken. It doesn't make sense if you're talking want a babyface and heel. But it is what it is, right? Doc, I got a soundbite I got to play, bro. From Rude, because we've been saying this. What?
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm trying to keep us in order with my sound bites, but you're good.
Yeah. Before the match, Rude needs to say something.
I know where we're going.
Music.
Cut the fucking music.
What I'd like to have right now is for all you fat, out of shape, Southern fried sweat hogs, keep the noise down while I take my robe off and show you what a real sexy man is supposed to look like. Hit the music.
Bruh, I don't care how many times I hear him do that. He is the greatest prick of all time. So conceited and arrogant.
Uh-oh.
What?
He did some dick dancing. He's got some more in a minute. I got a timestamp.
Bruh, he is phenomenal with this stuff.
He was a prick 3 years ago or 4 years ago when he had the tag titles.
True. But it's different
but he's gone
now.
Off and he's matured. He's filled out a little bit. He's not as lean, and he is cut that off the mullet. He's serious looking and means business.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. All right. So
Southern Fried Sweat Hog.
Dude, it's so good. He's just such a good heel, man. He's so great. He's so arrogant. He is like a perfect heel, man. And he's a good wrestler too. And he bumps great.
Got the fucking music.
Yeah, he did everything but say that. He said cut the music, but yeah. And he's got a young Paul E. Dangerously with him, which is also cool. All right, what other timestamps you got? Because you said you got some more from this one.
138.30.
All right, let's see if we can get to it. 138.30. It doesn't want to proceed. All right, we're at 138.24. What are we looking for?
Oh, you'll know.
Okay, so we get a backbreaker by Rude. Oh, there it is. Some swivel hips dick dancing. Look at him go. He's into it right there, too. You see them two girls in the back? Look at them girls behind him when he's dancing. Hold on. Here it goes. When he puts his elbow down. You see those two to his right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, watch them. They like that. Look at them. They are young, but they like that. I don't think they're of age, but they like that. Dude, tell me they didn't react. What are the chances
that he did that in a certain direction aimed at a certain person?
Probably pretty good. He's Rick Rude. I wouldn't put nothing past him. Okay. All right, what other timestamp you got?
Let me see here.
That's a nice belly to back right there, man. Steve Armstrong.
Here's my note. Here's my note about. I had to switch over. Here's my note about Rude. He left a kid and came back a man.
I don't think he was a kid.
Right, but he was. He was still a puppy with big paws.
You got to see him in Mid-South. Like,
okay, so I need 143.45.
Okay. Hold on, I got to go back some. If you saw him in Mid-South, you'd really be like, oh my God, he is really a puppy with big paws. So he hits the Rude Awakening. That's the finish. And he pins Armstrong.
And now?
When he kisses the camera or goes to kiss the camera.
Yes.
So arrogant, dude. And we get some more butt-clenching, dick dancing.
He's flexing his butt cheeks.
He's literally flexing his butt cheeks.
That's tremendous. Just lots and lots of dick dancing.
He actually dominates Armstrong in this match, but I don't know if you'd call it a squash.
Right.
They went a while.
Here's the other thing I thought. Heyman's been doing this for 30 years, man.
Yeah.
He's going to be out there involved in the main event of WrestleMania.
And think about this. Not only has he been doing it 30 years, but so think about that.
How many
think
times
about the
he's
miles
reinvented
and the
himself?
traveling. Yeah, well, I don't know, bro. Like, he's reinvented himself, but he's still, if you look at how he's dressed here and how he looks, he's just a fatter version of himself right now.
No. He's the psycho yuppie here. Now he's the sage old wise man.
Okay. That's
Before that,
point.
he was the Weasley guy holding on in the corporate environment. Before that, he was the edgy guy that was leading the revolution in ECW with the ponytail and the trench coat.
Okay. Fair enough. I meant more or less from the clothes he has on.
Okay.
That ain't changed from here to now. He's still got a suit on. But in ECW, he's the, up against the authority. I'm the revolution. I got you. All right. So hold on. Let me play the promo. I need to go back some. Did you have anything else from the match before I go back a little bit?
No, I'm ready for this promo.
Yeah, me too. All right. So he dick dances again. Bro, we might need a dick dancer counter, man.
Man, he is out there putting up numbers.
Because it's like quality, 6 times in that match.
He's quality and quantity.
All right, let's go to the promo. Here's Rick Rude, Paulie Dangerously after Rude wins and defeats Steve Armstrong.
Must be avoided by the Stinger this Tuesday night if Sting wants to retain the United States Heavyweight Championship. But I think, obviously, on national television, Paul, you've been there before. You've got a statement to make regarding Tuesday night.
Ever since I came here this evening, everybody here at Center Stage said, Paulie Dangerously, we need you back on World Championship. We need you to save us from Captain Oklahoma, because World Championship Wrestling does not appreciate its top wrestlers. It doesn't appreciate its top personalities. Doesn't appreciate its top talent. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Louisiana gets another governor. Clarence Thomas goes to the Supreme Court, and those bastards tell me that I can go to hell. Now, you want to live dangerously with a psycho yuppie from Wall Street? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bankrupt this whole damn company until I'm the head of the board of directors, until I'm the head of the championship committee, until you might as well call me Paulie Turner. This Tuesday night at 8:05, I promise you one thing. At 8:05 Eastern Time this Tuesday night on live national television, there's going to be a new United States Heavyweight Champion, and his name is Ravishing Rick Rude!
I know you've got some comments to make. You know Sting is here. I'm sure you'll direct them perhaps to him, sir.
Yes, I know Sting is here. And when Ravishing Rick Rude thinks of Sting, I think of a great champion. I think of a top-notch competitor. A man who has met all challenges and beaten all challengers. Welcome to the club, Sting. That makes 2 of us. Everywhere you have been, I have been. Everything you have done, I have done. Our only problem is, Sting, we've never been in the same place at the same time. Well, Tuesday at the Clash, we're going to put an end to that. We're going to answer all the questions. And Jim Ross, when the Clash is all over and the final bell is rung, the whole world will see it was Sting who was stung. See you at the Clash, Sting.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Clash of Champions is this Tuesday night. And when we come back, we'll have Heavy Metal Van Hammer right after this timeout.
Yeah, we going to skip past Van Hammer because I really don't give a damn. But that promo was gold. Heyman was gold. I'm sorry, Dangerously was gold. And Rude puts the icing on the cake at the end. Good stuff.
Tremendous.
Everything you've done, I've done. Everything you've done, I've done. I mean, it might not be true, but it sounded
It doesn't
great.
matter. I believe it.
Right.
What's true got to do with any of this?
Boy, you ain't lying, especially when you're talking about heels. I mean, come on. But that was great. I'm loving Rick Rude.
Here's George South's greatest challenge yet.
Yeah, we go to commercial and come back. Van Hammer takes on George South. Bruh, I can't do it with this dude. I say this frequently, but I can't with Van Hammer, man. He wins. Wrong guy won. You got anything else?
It's awful.
I feel bad for George South.
You should.
All right, we'll keep going. Tommy Rich takes on Sting in the last match on the show. They don't get much time. Get a Stinger splash followed by a Scorpion Deathlock for the win in like 2 minutes.
Both of these guys suck, but in different ways.
Tommy Rich has moved down the card significantly, even though he's a member of the York Foundation. The United States
moved
champions,
down the card too, I think.
Kind of. But yeah. I really don't, I mean, what do you want me to say? Sting wins, and that was kind of like that. Right, Doc? I mean,
I don't really want to get folded up like a pretzel in that thing, that Scorpion thing. Can you just hit me with the splash and roll me on up?
That sounds like something that he would say.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I realize that I'm out there to do the JOB, and make you look good, but I don't want to get hurt. My back has been barking lately.
All right, let's keep moving. The last thing we're going to cover on this episode is Sting cutting a promo, and I have to play it so that I can hear Doc's reaction to it. Here we go.
United States Heavyweight Champion, and what a night it's going to be Tuesday night. Not only will the United States Heavyweight Championship be on the line, we're going to find out via the last gift box who's been sending these boxes at the Clash of Champions.
That's right, Rossi. This is the last box. I got a personal invitation this time. You know how upset I was last time. I didn't get an invitation. I missed the birthday party, the candles, everything else. But this time, we get to find out what the real deal is.
You heard the comments made by Ravishing Rick Rude and Paulie Dangerously. Quite obviously, they are more than ready for this confrontation Tuesday.
Well, Rossi, all I can say now is, up to now, Ravishing Rick Rude, you've had just a taste, just a smidgen of what World Championship Wrestling is all about. But come time for the Clash, when this title, this belt right here, is up on the line, you're going to get a chance to bite into something a little bit bigger. I'm giving you the opportunity, Ravishing Rick Rude.
Well, we're being joined by Medusa of the Dangerously camp.
Maybe it was a rude awakening already. You already tired of Rick or what?
Darling, you're gonna see just how rude Rick is. And it's gonna be a cold day in hell before you get your stinger next to me.
Whoa! Holy! Well, I hope, Mr. Rude, that you are rude. I hope that you're ravishing. And remember this, Mr. Rude, you're going to get stung. And Medusa, you just might get stung. I didn't say that, but you know. Woo!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the United States Heavyweight Championship's going to be on the line. We'll see you tomorrow on the main event.
How bad did that make you mad? Did that anger you?
Wow. Just what we're doing?
Oh. Dude, I watched it like 5 times back to back. I was like, oh. Maybe Medusa's gonna get stumped. Oh, I should have said that. Ow!
Comes to the back and Tommy Rich goes, God damn, that promo was so bad. You should have let me hit the splash. God dang.
Did you not enjoy that?
No.
Bro, that shit was phenomenal.
Lee bad.
That was great. What a way to close the episode, going towards the Clash with him versus Rude.
Y'all are giving Sting to a real man. He's in trouble.
My God, that was so great. It was so terrible. My buddy Everett Starr out there is gonna love that. He's gonna be like, man, that's how you close an episode. Oh my God. All right, did you only watch it once, or did you rewind it to see it a second time to see how great it was? I'm waiting on an answer here.
Once was plenty.
Once was plenty? That was so good, man. I loved it. Oh my God, I loved it. All right, so you know the drill, Doc. We gotta anything else before we rate it and hand out a Toot Toot Award, I should say. But you're that shook up right now, huh?
Well, here's the thing.
I'm listening.
This is where things get turned to become relative.
Okay.
As bad as Sting is, he's still light years ahead of Van Hammer.
Oh, Van Hammer's a joke, bro.
So is Sting.
No, Sting. I'm not gonna let you slander. I'm not gonna let you slander Sting like that, bro. Bruh, look, here's the thing, bro. Sting's promos are not good. But he's for the kids. He's not for us. All right? The other side of the equation is Sting can have a good match. Van Hammer is incapable of a good match. Incapable. He is impotent at having good matches. I just invented something there. So you can't say that. You can be mad at Sting, but Sting ain't that bad, is my point. That's all I'm trying to say. But we do need to rate it and hand out some Rolexes. Before we do so, remember we've been talking about it this whole episode. The Clash is coming up. So become a patron, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. You'll get to listen to Doc and I for sure. Harper is supposed to be there. Review Clash 17, where the card seems to be lined up well and looks like it's going to be a great one. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. It's a great way to support the show, and you'll get extra content, which is, of course, a plus. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. What are you going to rate this one, Doc? I think this was better than last week.
Oh, yeah, I do too. This was definitely better than last week, although I'm starting to wonder when baseball season starts.
What do you mean when baseball season starts? It's November. Like, I don't know if we're there, pal.
Okay. I'm going to give this one a B+. No. I'm going to give it a B+. B+.
I'm going to give it a B+ as well.
I almost went A-.
Me too. But I'm going to give it a B+. So who gets your Toot Toot Award?
Well, this one's tough.
Yeah, it is. Because there's a couple of things here you can give it to. To me, you got Arn and you got Rude are the two. That's
who I'm torn between, because Rude got more time. Arn maximized his minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
Ugh, this is difficult. This is why we make the big bucks, though.
Well, while you're debating, I'm going to go Rude, but that you're splitting hairs because Arn could have easily gotten it too.
I'm going Arn.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, you can't.
And the reason I'm going Arn is he helps get Dustin over with that.
Yeah, it was good stuff, man. He really did. He did him a favor. Well, that just about wraps up the show. Thank you for listening. That's November 16th of 1991. Once again, brother. We're heading towards the Clash. Boy, this is the 17th one we've covered. I think I did say we were getting close to the end of Lady Blossom's run, maybe our last time seeing her, but I believe we see her at the Clash. I haven't watched it in a number of years, so I think we'll have to see then, but I believe we'll see her there. Anyway, so that might be her swan song, but not really sure. Anyway,
she's that note. Preggers.
She's already pregnant at Halloween Havoc, according to the shoot interview she did.
Well, she can't get more pregnant now.
No, she can't. All right, Doc. Anything else before we get out of here?
No.
Yeah, that's what I say too. Well, hit the tagline. Let's roll. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Book it, bitch.